Hey guys, welcome back. I wanted to take just a few minutes and kind of give you guys a life update, what has been going on here at our house for the last month or so. Again, you'll have to bear with the gnats. So I had put a thing on the community tab that my husband was injured at work and I didn't know when I'd be coming back to YouTube. And I still don't know what that's going to look like in a normal capacity, but I wanted to fill you guys in a little bit. So I'm trying to remember when exactly. About the second week in July, my husband took a truck to Uniontown, Ohio, I believe. No, somewhere in Ohio. He took a truck to Ohio. And when he stepped down out of the truck, something moved. Whether it was, I don't know, something in the joint or a muscle, we still don't really know exactly. But something moved and his hip just basically locked into place. He couldn't really move, he couldn't unhook his car from the truck. Luckily, there were people there who were able to help him to get that accomplished. And he thought, well, I probably just need to go to the chiropractor. Most of the time, if he goes to the chiropractor, he feels better. And so he went, and it didn't help. And so he went to urgent care, and urgent care said that they thought it was his sciatic nerve, and they gave him a muscle relaxer and a steroid. And neither one of them did anything for him. So he waited a few days, still working, just really slowly, and went back to the chiropractor, and this time it seemed like it helped a good bit, and he worked a couple more days and he started to feel a little bit sore again, and he thought, well, if the chiropractor helped last time, it'll probably, if I go one more time, it should fix it. So he went back to the chiropractor and it made it so much worse. And I don't know if that's because everything was so tight or what the deal was, but his condition just gradually worsened and worsened until he really was completely unable to work. He couldn't get into a truck, he couldn't get out of a truck, he couldn't hook and unhook a truck. I followed him to work a couple of days, our older son followed him to work a couple of days, and we were able to help him to get in the truck. He would drive, we would help him to get out. He didn't have to hook and unhook his car because we were following him. The last day they tried to go to work was July 17th, and he just could not climb into the truck. It didn't work. So he came home and he went to the emergency room. They did a hip x-ray and a spinal x-ray and made sure nothing was broken, and nothing was. And they said that his spine was aligned perfectly, that he has just a couple of discs that are starting to show some wear, which I guess is normal for age. He's going to be 40 in November, but no compression, no bulging discs, anything like that in his spinal x-ray. And so they said they didn't think it was a pinched nerve. They felt like it was a pulled muscle. So they said that he needed to get physical therapy. But of course they couldn't order it. So we scheduled an appointment with his primary care doctor to get a referral so that he could go to physical therapy. And the day that we took him in for that appointment, he couldn't really stand on his own. My 15-year-old Aaron and myself, we would get underneath his armpits and kind of pick him up, and it took hours to get him from where he was laying in the living room into the car, and it would take an hour to get him out of the car once we got there. His leg just didn't work. He couldn't make it lift, he couldn't make it move. When he laid down at night, I would have to pick up that leg and kind of slide it onto the bed. If I laid a blanket across it, he couldn't move it even side to side. It felt too heavy. So he went to get evaluated by the physical therapist then, and they really don't know. They don't know what's wrong, but they are trying to help him. He's doing aquatic therapy twice a week, and it is definitely improving. He has a lot more range of motion. He has taken a few steps without crutches in the last couple of days. The physical therapist recommended an MRI. That has to be requested by his primary care doctor, and then approved by the insurance, and then scheduled. And they haven't done that yet. And we were talking about it the other day, and he said, since the physical therapy is helping and he feels like that's making a difference, that he's not going to push for the MRI, because if he does, he won't be able to go back to work until they get the results from that. And around here, you could wait for months for an MRI. So in the meantime, he has not worked. Today's Tuesday, so tomorrow will be 3 weeks, I believe, since he worked. I know it was a Wednesday whenever he went in, so maybe it was 2 weeks now. Maybe the 24th, and then the 31st, and then, yeah, so this will be 3 weeks since he has worked. And he is not a salaried employee, an hourly employee, anything like that. He is a 1099 independent contractor. In most cases, that would mean that he has no benefits, including no workers' compensation. However, the company that he was working for, he works for 2 different companies, and praise the Lord that the one that he was working for is based in Missouri. And what we're understanding is that Missouri requires all companies to provide either workers' compensation or a workers' compensation equivalent for their employees. So he has I think they call it an accident and injury insurance policy through them. We pay $26 a month for this coverage, and it is for workplace related incidences. I think that's how you say it. So he was able to file a claim with them, but like any insurance, there is just a lot of paperwork and going back and forth, and people who don't communicate directly with the people who need to get the information. So I think we now have all of the paperwork submitted that they need in order to make a decision. So they sent the last paperwork on Friday, and my husband had talked to his claim manager, or whatever, the person at the company. It's called Intact Insurance. He talked to them on Friday, and they were like, we need this one more piece of paper from your doctor's office. He talked to his doctor's office 3 times on Friday to get them to send it, and they finally were like, yeah, we sent it. By that point, the lady in Missouri was gone for the day, and so Monday he went to check in with her, and we got an automated message that she is off until Thursday. So we are still waiting. We have not had any paychecks, income of any kind from his job since, at least 2 weeks. We had part of a week that we were able to take for those first 2 days that he worked the week that he ended up not being able to work anymore. So anyway, but God is good, and a couple of weeks before this all happened, a friend of ours from church was like, hey, would your family want to come and help do some work for me, and I would pay you as a family. And he had bought an investment property that was completely trashed, and so we were like, sure, we would come do this, because we wanted to be able to take the kids to an amusement park this summer, and we didn't know how much he was going to pay us, but we wanted to be able to put it toward that. So then my husband got hurt and he couldn't go, but I was able to take the kids who were home with me. Usually it was anywhere from 4 to 6 of our kids at a time, and we worked for him, and he paid us very well, and so that has really helped to cushion, helped our money to last. And so now we're just waiting to hear about the insurance. I really do think it's going to go through. There's no reason it shouldn't, but we don't know exactly how much that is going to be, how much we're going to get from that. They said it's usually like around $500 a week. So that's about half of our normal income. But I find it interesting that I had just put up a video talking about not feeling deprived and cutting back on our budgets, starting with the things that matter least. And so we went through our budget and decided what can go and what can be put on hold, and I think it's going to be okay. We may have to pull just a little bit from savings, but we have been saving. You know, we do sinking funds kind of things, and so I have some money set aside for gifts. I have like $650 set aside for Christmas. I have $1,000 set aside. We were going to do flooring in our house. I have $400 or $500 set aside that we were supposed to be taking the kids to the amusement park, and nobody wants to go without daddy, so we're probably not going. And then our regular savings, and so we're able to stretch that, and I just feel like God has gone before us. He's prepared us for this, and it is very stressful to me. We've been through a lot of things like this. Last year my husband had a different injury and was off work for longer than we expected, and we've always gotten through it, and I feel like I can deal with anything. I just need to know what I'm facing. So once we hear back from the insurance, I will feel better. I'll feel like I can face this. We can make a plan, but it's hard to make a plan when you don't know what you're facing. So anyway, other than that, we're doing well. We're doing our church tent revival next week, so I've been doing shopping for that. Of course, the church pays me back for all of that, so it's been fun, and we'll be very busy doing that next week. And then the following Wednesday, we are starting school so that we can get that in. We have a vacation booked for September, like the second week in September. And as of now, we are still going to do that. So hopefully, they're saying my husband should be able to be back to work September 1st. So we shall see. But our Verbo is already paid for. Our expenses for that week are already pulled, set aside. So unless something really dramatically changes, we're still planning on going on vacation. And in the meantime, we're just going to be hanging out at home and saving money and prioritizing our budget. And yeah, that's what we're doing. So I hope you guys are well, and I just hope that your summer is going well. Thank you so much for being here and checking in with me, and hopefully I will see you very soon.